Like many people, I'm very fascinated by the story of Jack the Ripper and would love to know the truth behind it. Will we ever find out? I feel like it's unlikely, but I still love reading literature about Jack the Ripper. And when the author of Jack the Ripper Behind the Blade asked if I wanted to receive and review a copy of this book, of course I said yes. So I do have to say that the author, S.M Cornthwaite, did send me a copy of this book, but my opinions are true to what they are. I could have put that more eloquently, but never mind. What I really like about this book, and I will say there is one thing that's not great about this book, and that's not with regards to the writing, but it's with the publication, and I will talk about that at the end. But the book itself, I really like how structured it is. This is very well researched. The writer definitely knows the subject. When reading it, I felt like I was being invited into this world. There's a chapter at the beginning that kind of describes Victorian London as it was. Not the fantasy that we have in adaptations of Dickens and high society, and obviously the opposite side of that. But this chapter looks at Victorian London as it actually was, and also looks at Whitechapel, which is of course pivotal to the events that unfolded surrounding Jack the Ripper. And then it launches into information about what we know about Jack the Ripper and the prostitute that he killed. And it goes into a lot of detail, but it's very digestible. I feel like it's almost conversational. A picture is very clearly painted as certain scenes are being described and certain events are being retold. And you are very much invited to read this. Part of it feels like, the best way to describe it is it's like an academic essay, but enjoyable. Most academic essays are very dry, but this is actually really easy to read, very inviting, very friendly, conversational, but information that's being said is still supported in a way that it would have to be academically. So it's a really good mix and a really good blend. The information shared is, a great analysis of Jack the Ripper's character and, of course, of his victims. The only downside of this book, because it is a journey, when you read it, you're going on a journey through Jack the Ripper's life. The only downside is the actual quality of the publication. And it's published by AuthorHouse, and I would never recommend paying for a book to be self-published. I've heard some pretty bad things about AuthorHouse, and I know that the writer has, Cornthwaite has actually since then published elsewhere, so the future works are actually with a different writer. But this particular book is with AuthorHouse, and the publication quality of the actual hard copy, the physical copy, isn't great. They really need a better proofreading team as well. So if you ever thought of going with AuthorHouse just based on this publication, I would say no. Pay a professional editor, I'm pointing at yours truly as I say this, to give your manuscript a couple of once-overs before you even self-publish through Amazon. I thoroughly recommend it. But I'm getting off topic. This book is very informative, very well researched, very easy to read while still being full of facts and information. Definitely well researched, trustworthy in that regard. If you're looking for a book about Jack the Ripper, as long as you can get past the actual quality of the hardback publication, I'm not sure, it is out in Kindle. There is a Kindle version, which you may prefer, although I will say the design of this one I really like. I like the blood red and the bleeding and the spatter, and I do like the cover artwork. But aside from the things that I've mentioned, if you are looking for a Jack the Ripper text, you could probably do worse than this one. It's certainly pretty interesting.